Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for connecting. Thank you so much for joining. We can never we're going to have some important discussion. Please share the video as you're joining. I appreciate everybody that connected. Thank you. Thank you for connecting. Our God doesn't sleep. Share your day, at all. Thank you for joining. Please share the video on your platform. Share the video in your WhatsApp group. Share the family and friends. Keep sharing so that we can be able to have a full house. YouTube is not sending notification. They are not having issues, so we have to do it by ourselves. You can support the channel by sharing the video. Share on your own group. Share to your family and friends. I won't take much of your time. It's going to be a very short video. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I appreciate everybody have connected. This is a very serious weekend, a weekend of revelation. So we have to talk about it. It's very important we talk about the massive revelations we have all received. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Let us spread the gospel, spread the news, let it get to everybody. We have to do what we have to do. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate everyone who are connected. If you're joining me from Biafra land, you're joining from Asia, from Europe, from America, from any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contributions to the channel. Thank you so much. Today we are going to discuss about a very important issue. You know, there are a lot of issues this weekend, so we don't have to be silent. We keep talking about them and we have to digest it so that people can understand. There are a lot of misconceptions, a lot of confusions, a lot of deception, and a lot of propaganda and blackmails. That is why I'm here to talk about it. But before we go into the full broadcast, let us hear our national anthem and the prayer of Mazen Nanikano to lead us through.
Good evening and good night to some of you. This is a very special broadcast, and of course, we must pray. And prayer we must, this very evening and always going forward. And I will pray in the language of heaven, because Chukwu Okike Abiama is in control of all that we have been doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and all the suffering indigenous populations and the damnable zoological republic are set free. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile Chukwu Okike Abiama onye na-efe na aja aha nsọ ya mma mgbe niile. Onye ọbụla na ya na-achị eluigwe n'ụwa na-agba akaebe ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị amara gị n'ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị na-eze ebede ngọzi. Anyị wee na-etoghị agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro. Iwe nye anyị ndụ ala nke dị n'uwere n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-asị na ịja mma niile otu niile dịrị aha nsọ gị. Onye ọ bụ naanị aka ike niile na ọ gbadara aka ya. Anyị wee na-akpọku gị na-asị gị na nke ọma anyị ga-ekele gị, nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-eto gị, wee na-asọpụrụ gị n'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee ezi oku mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwaa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na ihe n'ikwuru anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe. Agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbọgba ebe niile dị iche iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna ihere bụ nke ndị dị etu a n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-eto gị, wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta, onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Oh. Welcome, my wonderful brothers and sisters, fellow Biafrans. I thank you so much as you have joined. Those of you who are always here with me, supporting from time to time, I appreciate you and I thank you so much for your support. May Chukwu Okike Abiama guide and protect you. Today, we are going to talk about some issues. I'm not going to take much of your time. It's going to be a very short broadcast. So I will try as much as possible to cut it short. But I have to make my opinion because a lot of things are happening. Today, for my Facebook page have been restricted. I've not been able to broadcast on my Facebook for the past 2 days. And they have restricted me. I can't do anything on my page. So I can't be able to post the videos I'm supposed to post over there. I couldn't post it. I couldn't make a broadcast on Facebook. Even the YouTube is being restricted. They don't send out my notifications, but I'm not bothered. I will still continue to say what I want to say and make sure that I pass the information. And a few of us that are going to hear it, we also help to share the information and to get across. Today, let me start from the issue of having today. Today is a very sad day, very sad thing happened. We saw it going viral online about some of people that lost their life in Ondo State. May their spirit rest in peace. May their gentle soul rest in peace. Some people lost their life in the hand of the evil people that we've been talking about for a very long time. That is what we've been talking about. We've been crying about that same cry that Mazinaga have been crying. Finally, everything is coming to play out. But before we go fully on that detail, first of all, I'm going to address a very important issue that has to do with the things that are going on the social media, things that were going on Twitter about the inconsequential people who try to destroy the struggle of Biafra. You see, I always say it that anybody that is fighting against our brother Simon Ekpa is actually fighting against Biafra and fighting against Mazin Nanikan. And at the same time, fighting against him or herself. Anything you are doing against Mazin Nanikan, against Simon Ekpa, you're actually doing it against yourself. You're fighting against yourself. But I don't know why some people have refused to fight the just cause and they are insisting on fighting themselves. Even after the obvious revelation that we have seen. If you cannot be able to have the time to watch the full video of the broadcast that Simon made yesterday with Omada, if you can't have it, there are so many that have been caught. I have caught certain part of it and I shared even on my platform. What you have to do is to go and look at it and watch it properly. When you watch it, you digest it before you come and make a speech. I've come across some people who are talking online, although I know that most of them, majority of them are talking out of hate. Even with the obvious evidence that you can see, you see some of them, instead of looking at the right side, they are still bent on pointing an accusing finger on an innocent man. That is how evil some people have become. And I'm not surprised, because after all, when Christ was being held, when Christ was with Pilate, Pilate saw that Christ was innocent. Even with the whole innocency of the Christ, people were saying that they should kill him and give them the criminal. That is how evil human being can be. They were demanding for the criminal to be released and kill an innocent person. The same thing is what you are seeing today in Biafra struggle. The same thing what you are seeing. With the blockbuster revelation that we have seen from our brother Simon Ekpa and the Umada, you see people where they are focusing attention is on the nudity of somebody who decided to provide her nudity to the public. They try to use to blackmail Simon Ekpa. You see some of them saying that, you see some of them, what you see in their title is that Biafra struggle has now become sharing of nude. Biafra struggle have now become sharing of nude. Why are you sharing the nude of a woman? How can an agitator or somebody share the nude of a woman? This is how evil some people can be, trying to change the narrative of something that is very straightforward. But I thank Chukwu that Biafrans are watching. Biafrans are listening. Before you speak about somebody, go and watch the video that the person made, and go and listen and study that person, what the person has been doing in the past and what the person is doing currently and what the person has said about the thing you want to comment on. But some people have actually sold their soul to the devil. The circumstances surrounding the pictures of the woman in question, which I cannot mention her name because she doesn't want it. I don't mention there are only few names I mention on my platform. If I'm not talking about Mazen Nandekano, I will mention Simon Ekpa because he has merited it through his work. I don't mention, there's no other person you can hear his name in my mouth on my platform. I try as much as possible to avoid them, unless when they become necessary. I try as much as possible to avoid them. The person that provided her own nude by her own self, she provided her own nude and gave to her clique that wanted to destroy Biafra. Because she's a destructive human being, the spirit of Biafra pursued her, so that she took her destruction against the people that made her own group, and the whole thing backfired. And it was her own group that provided her pictures and her videos and her nudity and gave it to the public. Simon has nothing to do with it. Simon was only contacted because they know how big the platform of Simon is. They know that Simon is the only sincere person who can be able to do something justly without attaching anything to it. Simon is the only person who can be able to provide that picture and the video without adulterating it or doing anything. That was why they passed it to him. And Simon, when he released the first picture he released, he was so careful to even cover the shame of the idiot. Simon was covering the shame of the idiot. He covered the shame. He couldn't be able to put it out until the picture got into the hand of other people and the people begin to spread it and spread the videos the way they want it. Simon called her attention to confess. Simon was even lenient enough to be showing her example. Maybe she can see it and repent from her evil. When the first picture was pulled, it contains very little information, but she knows where the picture was coming from. The second picture was posted. She knew where it was coming from. Simon was releasing the pictures gradually to make her come to her senses and repent from what she's doing. But she refused to repent because she has sold her soul to the devil, just like when Pharaoh sold his soul to the devil. With all the miracles that was performed in the presence of Pharaoh, Pharaoh insisted on holding the children of Israelites until he began to see the loss of his own children. The same thing is what will happen in this very issue. You see some of them, when you see them, they have forgotten the actual point. Some of them are now blaming Simon. They begin to talk about irrelevant issues. They are not even talking about what she was doing, what brought about that her nudity. How did she bring her nudity and give to somebody? Nobody forced her to do it. She was not under duress. Nobody forced her. She was not blackmailed. She on her own went on totally naked, complete naked, in order to take the life of innocent people. Because she was seeking for power. Now, the public have seen it. Instead of them now thinking about the reason why she did what she did, asking questions, why must she go to that extent? Why must you go to a woman, a married woman with children, even if she's divorced, she has children. She decided to go naked in the public. Go naked in the public and gave out the video. It doesn't matter, you gave it to a spiritualist, you gave it to a native doctor, you gave it to who? For a woman to descend to that level, to give her nudity out in order to acquire power, that woman is evil. But when you go to some platform, they are not talking about this issue. They are not talking. Some of them are busy demonizing Simon. Some of them are busy calling Simon in, saying that why must he be sharing? Biafran struggle is not sharing of nudity. And you have forgotten the explanation that Simon gave, that it wasn't even Simon, it was the native doctor that she worked with that gave the instruction that that very thing has to be exposed and the public have to see it. And the exposure of the woman in question has something to do with the freedom of person and the camp. These are spiritual things. You don't overlook anything. When it comes to spiritual issues, you don't overlook anything. When you come to spiritual issues, you do not overlook anything, no matter how little it is. There are certain times you see some people, when they are praying, they will go and cut a cane and begin to flog on the air. Begin to flog cane on the air. You will think they are crazy, they are mad. All those things have a significance. They have a significance. You will see a native doctor, we just go and take an idol. We just take a baby rubber and tie it and tie it and tie it, take key and tie it. All those things have symbol. Every single thing, when it has to do with spirituality, have symbol. When the spiritual man that made the medicine told you that expose this woman, send her to the public, expose her, this will lead to the release of Mazen Nandekan. It will help Mazen Nandekan's release. And you think it's a joke. A woman that has got to that length. Then the spiritual man who did the work for her, she wanted to overpower the spiritual person, up to the extent of going to attack the spiritual person, violated all the, even I'm very sure she was going to the extent of looking for a native doctor to take out the native doctor that did the medicine for her. When that one have refused to kill innocent Biafran. People are not talking about this issue. All this evidence are there. They have ignored it and they are busy talking again. This is what hatred can cause to people. Some people have hated Simon to the extent that they can't even see the truth when it is telling them. And ask me, what's wrong has Simon done? Ask them, what crime has Simon committed? The only crime Simon committed is that Simon have refused to use the language they want him to use. He has refused to fight the battle they want him to fight. He has refused to fight when they want him to fight. He was waiting for the right time. You see some of them saying that, why is it now that he's releasing? Why didn't he release it? Why is it that he held a secret that Mazen Nandekano, a secret about the people who kidnapped Mazen Nandekano, he kept it for himself all this while? Question that dumb people, idiots ask. Do you think it is easy to get such information? Do you think you can just wake up and begin to get information? And they have forgotten that Simon that is doing that, it is not even the responsibility of Simon to go to that land that he has gone. It was supposed to be the responsibility of the leadership of IPOB to answer the question that someone is answering today. But every one of them have forgotten that as you are watching this video, every single thing someone is doing today, someone is playing the role, the things that the DOS are supposed to do. Those who call themselves the leaders of IPOB, the answers they are supposed to give the public, they have refused. Today, it is Simon that have finally been able to provide that very answer. The answer is coming through that same Simon that you hated. Still, you are not satisfied that you are getting the answer to the question you've been asking. There was a time what was written online that who betrayed Mazen Nandekano? Who betrayed Mazen Nandekano? We want to know. $1 million question that every one of us have been asking. Finally, the answer to that question have come. Instead of us now to embrace the answer to that question, be happy about it, you see people, they are busy talking about irrelevant things. People are still busy attacking Simon neighbor, busy destroying Simon, busy demonizing Simon, even when they know that they are just pouring water on the stone. That is how evil some people have become. That is how evil some people have become. Some of them begin to justify her action. Some of them begin to link her with the Umada. That it was the arrangement with them and Umada, but they presented her to go for the mission. Now she went to the mission and the mission failed, and now they are now bringing her out. This is how evil some people have become. An obvious truth that is played. Do you think that if this woman was aware that this information was in public, that she would begin to do what she's doing? She's not going to do it. But let me tell you, Chukwu Okikabiama doesn't sleep. That is why you must have to be very careful. If you call yourself a Biafran agitator, You call yourself a Biafran agitator and you are not sure of what you're saying, you better keep quiet. If you call yourself a Biafran agitator, and you are not sure of the information you are peddling, the information you are calling about, please shut your mouth and go back and sleep. It is not compulsory that you must talk. We must not all be broadcasters. We must not all be speaking out. Go and remain silent. Those who can talk, we talk. When the time comes, freedom will come. You will join us. That's no problem. But as long as you continue to promote evil, peddle lies against an innocent person, what happened to this woman is going to happen to you. And the fight is not going to come from anyone. You see, the destruction of that woman, the destruction of that woman did not come from Simon Ekpa directly. It was Chukwu Abiyama himself that destroyed her. You heard the story. From the very same place he went to do the charm, from the very same source he went to, Chukwu Abiyama destroyed her, and even destroyed the person that directed her to that native daughter. She killed the person. Do you think it was ordinary? You think it was ordinary? She took the life of the person that took her there. Anything you do against Biafra, let me tell you, even if you do it mistakenly, it's only Chukwu Abiyama himself that can save you. Only him. It's left for him to consider either to forgive you or not. It's only left for him. You see what happened to Judas. You see what happened to Judas after betraying Jesus. After Judas betrayed Jesus, he didn't even have the opportunity of repentance. If Judas did not commit suicide, do you know that Judas would have been forgiven? If Judas did not commit suicide, when Christ forgave everybody on the cross of Calvary, Judas himself would have been forgiven. But he didn't have that opportunity. The same fate will befall people who are playing a role to destroy Biafra. Either you are the person that appointed to a place, either you were there when they were discussing it against an innocent person. A plan was made through you. Either you point hand, you sponsor in any way, in any manner, you broadcast, you speak against an innocent person. Be careful. Your doom is coming. Your doom will definitely give you your punishment. Go and listen carefully how it happened. The person that took her to that native of where she went to do all those incantations and do all those evil charm, that same person was taken out by her herself. She planned the death of that person. And that was how Chukwu Abiyama planned it. When she took the person out, she thought that it's going to be well with her. And the same native doctor that did that charm for her now came out, destroyed the charm, and began to fight against her and release every information. If not for that side, if not the way it happened, do you think you can get all this information? You can't get it. But Chukwu Abiyama exposed her in a way that she cannot deny or run away. But you cannot shame the shameless. Whom God will destroy, he will first of all make mad. Do you think that she's normal? Go and watch her. You think she's normal? You think she's still normal? Including those who are sitting with her on the same platform still have the God to speak. People are still standing with her on the same platform. People are still on that platform watching and typing on the comment section. You'll be wondering, from which planet are these people coming from? With obvious evidence that is staring at you staring at you that you have seen. Things you have seen and heard with your ear, and still yet. That is how terrible the world is. That is how terrible people are. But let me tell you, if you call yourself a Biafran, any information you are not sure about, do not comment about it. Keep silent. It is better you remain quiet. It is not compulsory that everybody will be a broadcaster. It is not mandatory that everybody will fight for Biafra. It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory that everybody will be in the war front. If you don't know what to say, you don't have an idea, keep short. Go and sit down. When Biafra comes, come and celebrate in Biafra. But as long as you begin to play those evil roles, even when people have called your attention and tell you what you are doing is wrong, even when you sit back, your conscience will be telling you, your conscience, your inner conscience, unless your conscience is dead, just like her. Because for her own side, her conscience is completely dead. She's doomed already. She's doomed. When you see the kind of videos that are coming out, you see the kind of pictures that are coming out, and you hear what they say she did, for a woman to go to that extent to do what she did, she doesn't have conscience anymore. Against our a man that have given his own life, gave you his parents, left everything, even his family left behind. And today, you see somebody who have volunteered by herself to destroy that man. And she come on some platform, giving some people are defending her, saying that she did what for Mazen Nandekano? What did you do for him? You did what? You did what? When evidence is obvious, the person that did what he did for you was there. Even when you trace from everything, from the source of the argument, from the attack on Simon Ekpa, you begin to see clearly the picture on the handwriting on the wall. From the very first day Mazi Nnamdi was kidnapped, begin to reflect back on the way she was acting, the information that was coming from her. Reflect back the information that was coming from her, then you know that she has first-hand information on what happened to Mazi Nnamdi. She was there from the onset, from the beginning of the plan to the end. She was aware. She's aware. And she knows that she cannot succeed. She can't take the life of Mazi Nnamdi. She cannot. If it was possible for her to take my life of Mazi Nnamdi, she will do that. If it was possible for her to take the life of Mazi Nnamdi, she will do it. But no amount of sacrifice, no amount of sacrifice will take the life of Mazi Nnamdi. If she like, let her wipe away her whole generation. She cannot take life of Mazi Nnamdi, because Mazi Nnamdi was ordained in his mother's womb for this mission, and he must accomplish it. That is how it works. And because she has gone to that mile, she has gone to destroy herself. Now you have now seen the reason why she was waging war against Simon Ekpa. But some idiots, some wicked ones, some people who have sold themselves to the level cannot still see. Their anger. What is their anger? Their anger is that Simon Ekpa is not doing what they want him to do. He's not speaking the language they want him to speak. He is not fighting when they want him to fight. How I wish every Biafran and how the kind of patience Simon Ekpa have. A very patient man. It is in the life of Simon Ekpa I understand that the patient dog eat the fattest meat. The patient dog, that parable, patient dog eat the fattest meat. It is true. With all the shaking, all the attack, with all the attack, all the you do this and you do that, he was calm. He was calm. He was calm. He was calm until at the right time. And go and watch the video. Simon Ekpa is telling you that he has not started on his own personal investigation he had been doing. This is somebody you know. He is just a disciple of Mazi Nnamdi, a follower of Mazi Nnamdi. He is not a member of DOS. He is not any commander anywhere. But he is a follower of Mazi Nnamdi, recognized by Mazi Nnamdi himself, a full member, recognized. And because of that, he committed himself to make sure he find out who kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi. He went underground and began to do all the investigation. And at the end of the investigation, Chukwu Okike Abiama brought his own to complement that very investigation. Simon Ekpa said that he has not started his own. This one you are seeing is the one that Chukwu Okike Abiama himself brought out. And no man that was there to confirm it. The native doctor that worked with her came out to provide us information. When she wanted to take the life of Biafrans, the native doctor told her that they cannot touch any Biafran. You can do every other thing, but touching the life of a Biafran, he will not. And do you think it's ordinary? It is Chukwu Okike Abiama working. It is Chukwu Okike Abiama working. After all, with all the promises she had made to the native doctor, with all those promises, with all the promises of doing that and agreed, native doctor can decide to take out anybody because he has the power to do that. But Chukwu Okike Abiama, who is in charge of the struggle, made him to reject taking the life of any Biafran and warned her not to go to another individual, and she begins to run around. That same thing that will kill her, push her to other places. And the man found out, and all hell broke loose. And the native doctor told her, go and confess openly to Mazi Nnamdi, or else that same dance you dance in front of the shrine, you're going to dance it in public. And today she's already dancing, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know. If somebody have to, you see these people, these idiots that are talking against Simon Ekpa, these were the same people who were saying that Simon Ekpa cannot talk against Nelly because Nelly has his nude. That Simon Ekpa cannot talk about that woman because the woman has the nude of Simon Ekpa. That is why he's supporting him. That is why he cannot say, stop it. This was their message they were preaching. That there is something that connects him with the woman. There is something that the woman, either they have shared money together, either the woman have his nude. That is why he cannot. But today, what are you seeing? Today, when you have seen the truth is out, very open to the whole world, yet, instead of you to compliment that man who has fought the battle, instead of you to stand with him, at least step down, seize your fire, Now that you have seen the truth, you cease and say, now I know why you've been there all this while. Thank God that finally, even if you don't praise him, say, thank God that finally the truth is out. Even if out of your pride and arrogance, you don't want to praise him for standing firm till the last minute, just come and say it. Finally, the truth is out, and focus on the truth and move ahead. Focus on the truth and move ahead. But you see, every one of them have now begin to change the narrative. They want to force the narrative to change. They want to paint Simon Ekpa evil. They want to paint it that Simon Ekpa is sharing nude. Simon Ekpa is the one that brought the video. Simon Ekpa did this. It was a blackmail. They want to change it to a different thing, to saga. When you and I know that that is not what it is. They want to change the narrative, but they cannot, because Biafrans are wiser. And Chukwu Okuka Abiyama, who anointed Simon and gave him this assignment, is standing with him. There's one other video they are pushing around. The video they are pushing around said that Simon Ekpa said that Biafra is dead. These are, you know, why when I see such videos, it makes me laugh. Because those of us who watch Simon Ekpa program, I watch almost every of his program. I watch them live. I follow if I miss any of his program live, later on I watch it on my own time. Almost all his program, I watch it live. They say Simon Ekpa said, the same Simon Ekpa, they say that he's saying that that idiot is sharing that video, that Simon Ekpa said that Biafra is dead. Biafra, they just cut 2 minutes and said Biafra is dead. And you see, one of those idiots again is playing the same video. One of those idiots standing with this, their so-called Idu, is playing the video. They are still playing on the open. The Idus are playing that after Simon said Biafra is dead. When they know that it's a blatant lie, a joined video, cut and joined video, something that I can close my eyes and do. They've forgotten that very Simon Ekpa they are talking about on his program that I watched live. Simon was telling them that allow Nelly preach anything he wants to preach. If she like, let her jump to everywhere to Idu. That his platform is greater than her, and his platform will suppress any message of Idu that is coming out. Simon made it clear. During that time, all this is happening. He said it clear. When people are telling him, stop Nelly, why are you preaching? He said it during he made the program about Idu. After explaining about that Idu is something that every one of us know. It's a spirit that exists. It's something, a name that exists in Biafra land. We know about it. So go and make inquiry. But he ended that very block by saying that no matter what Nelly is preaching, as long as she is still not talking against Mazen Nandekan and fighting against the leader of Mazen Nandekan openly, we don't have any business with that. We don't got to create that discussion. We have a lot of problem in our hand already. We have enough problem. How many fractions are you going to create? How many fights are you going to pick up? He doesn't want the fight. Someone ever say, allow her to continue. If you don't like, don't go and listen to her. You don't like what you say. Why are you going there to listen to her? In his own platform that he never mentioned you do and will never ever mention you do his own platform. He will never preach you do his own platform. That he will never preach it in his own platform. That whatever she says and preach, his platform is big and bigger enough to suppress every message that is coming from her side. And that was a clear truth. A clear truth. And that was why she's fighting against Simon. She saw that with the way she's pushing the Idu, that without the platform of Simon supporting her, she's going nowhere. She knew very well that without the platform of Simon Ekpa, that she's going nowhere. That was why they trickishly introduced the joint broadcast. In the joint broadcast, you see them. They use that trick to lure someone into that joint broadcast, to use it to begin to launch their Idu attack. And Chukwu Okuka Abiyama was with Simon. Simon noticed what was happening. And on the very first day he appeared in that broadcast, there was a problem. And he left. He left. There was no agreement. He left. And that was the end of the whole thing. The war started. When they saw that they cannot be able to use that platform, knowing fully well that whatever, if they like, let them shout that Idu for 1 million years. Without someone ever joining them, no single Biafra, they are not going to convert any soul. Nobody's going to listen to them. They begin to attack to him direct. They thought that maybe in one way or the other they're going to destroy him. But today, you see how it's ended. You see how it has ended. They destroyed themselves. They ended up destroying themselves. You don't fight an innocent man. As long as your hand is clean, having a clean hand is the greatest charm you can make in this world. Having a clean hand The greatest charm you can make in this hand, even if somebody succeeded in taking your life, that person can never survive. The person and his generation will live to regret, and they must definitely confess. As long as your hand is clean, even if the person succeeds, if Chukwu allow the person to take your life, you are still standing a great chance of having your vengeance. Your vengeance will come in a lifetime. The person must confess, and the generation of that person will suffer. If you're fighting against Biafra or against Biafran angels, against Biafran, and there are angels that Mazin Nanikano say, people who were ordained from their womb to do this, to fight this struggle, they are coming out. People who were ordained from their mother's womb to fight this struggle. There are so many of us who were ordained from our mother's womb for this struggle. There are some people who have not started talking yet. Oh. There are some people whom we are not seeing online who are praying on their own. There are some people who have not come out yet. People that we ordained from their own mother's womb to fight this battle. Man said it. And if you make any mistake of speaking against them, you are in a place where they are talking against them, you join. You share any video against them. You share any plan against them. You direct somebody to a place where charm will be done against them. You will live. You can never survive to. You can never survive to take the story. The same way you saw Judas. Judas did not have opportunity for repentance. If Judas was alive, if Judas didn't commit suicide, Judas would have forgiven. If care is not taken, he would have entered heaven. But Judas committed suicide. He was not around when Christ prayed and forgive everybody who participated in his death. Judas didn't have that chance because he committed a grievous crime, selling an innocent man, a man that is pure. Judas didn't have opportunity. The same faith we follow anybody that have done anything against Mazen Nandekano. It doesn't matter you do it mistakenly. It doesn't. If you say you do it mistakenly, it's only Chukwu Okaba that will decide if it is by mistake or not. I can't be able to decide for you. If you say you did the mistake, it's only Chukwu Okaba that will decide. But anybody who has a hand in taking the life of innocent people, those who are ordained from their mother's womb, somebody like our Mazen Nandekano, and this Simon Epa you see him there, who is representing him? Who is representing Mazen Nandekano? If you are joining issues with him and you are supporting those who are fighting to bring him down, sorry. Your name is sorry. I say your name is sorry. You are not going to live to tell the story. If somebody have told this woman in the last month, if somebody have told this woman that what is happening today will happen to her, she's not going to believe it. She won't believe it. You saw when she come online, her voice will be raising or she'll be shouting on people and cursing and doing all sorts of things. When I knew that I was danger, when they launched their even before they launched their so-called they begin to mention other gods. Mazen Nandekano, in every of his brokers, he will repeat it to make you remember, in case you forgot. Mazen Nandekano say, I do not worship idol. He says it like he sing it like music. That he doesn't worship idol. He worships the Almighty God that liveth in heaven. He's singing it like music. That he doesn't worship idol. All of a sudden, Mazen Nandekan was kidnapped. You begin to see idol worship in Biafra struggle. Idol worship from all angles, including those of them who are going to native daughter to go and take jam, including people who are even members of ESN that are going to take jam. During the time of NSAS, Mazen Nandekano shunned them and was mad with them. Mazen Nandekano, in one of his brokers, he said, you that is going to take a charm to go and fight the Janjaweed, do you think that Janjaweed are not doing charm? Do you think that they're not doing charm? After doing that charm, you will expose yourself to them and they will kill you, they will finish you. After going to go and do charm, after doing the charm and you come out to ask your Rambo. You come and ask your Rambo, bullet doesn't enter you. They will finish you. Do you know how many sacrifices they themselves make? Do you know how many souls the Nigerian government wastes for their army? The sacrifice they do before they go the operation. The only thing that made Mazen Nandekano indestructible is that his hands are clean. He doesn't worship any other God except Chukwu Okabiyama who lives in heaven. Every single person in Biafra land is praying for him. Children are praying for him. Old people are praying for him. Men and women are praying for him because his hands are clean. That is why he's indestructible. He is on a mission that Chukwukama gave him, and he is following the instruction. Don't have any other God beside me. Do not have any other God beside me. That is the instruction. And Mazen Nanekano is obeying it to the last. He never encourages you to go to any fetish thing. He doesn't go. He sing it like music, that he doesn't worship idol. He doesn't worship idol. When he's talking about worship idol, he's not talking about your traditional prayer. You can pray traditionally. You can pray to Chukwuakabiama to any way you want to pray. You want to use your inzu to pray. You want to use whatever. You can pray. But when we talk about idol worship, you know what we mean by idol worship. The same thing, just like what this woman is doing. Just like what this woman is doing. Go and check the day they were inaugurating there. You do what they did. Go and listen to them. They had 3 gods they were calling that day. They were calling other 3 gods. That day, they called Chukwuakabiama. They used it to attract people and confuse people. After calling Chukwuakabiama, they will call Ada. What is Ada? From where? They will call Idu as their god. They call Idu as their god. They call Ada as their god. And they now call Chukwuakabiama to confuse you. When you hear Chukwuakabiama, you think they are talking about the same Chukwuakabiama me and you are calling. It is not the same. Go and listen to Broker Mazen Nanekano. Mazen Nanekano does not mention anything apart from Chukwuakabiama before Prumi. That is the only thing he calls. The Almighty God that liveth in heaven, who can do all things. That is the only thing that Mazen Nanekano believes in, and that's what he calls. But when you see other people, not only her, there are so many other platforms, so many other people, you see them with different kinds of idol talk and idol worship. That is why you see chaos everywhere. And the only man that is holding that same foundation, that is consistent in that same idea, is Simon Ekpa. Very plain and clean. Simon Ekpa is a Christian. It doesn't mean that if a traditionalist is a bad person. There are wonderful traditionalists who are straightforward. They pray to Chukwuakabiama, and it happens. There are Christians, they pray to Chukwuakabiama, it happens. Even if you're a Muslim, you can pray to Chukwuakabiama directly, and you get your result. It doesn't matter what you think you are. You pray to Chukwuakabiama and him alone. Put your faith and trust in him. He will answer you. That is the system. And that's what will going to save you. That is why when I'm following someone else, I'm not looking back. I don't look back. I am not supporting him because of him. I'm not supporting him because he is someone else. No. I am supporting him because of what I see in him, what I see him do. Any day he changes and begin to do a different thing, I will be one of those that will step aside and move out. I'm not even going to fight him as a fellow Biafran. I won't fight him. I won't talk to him. Chukwuakabiama, the same way Chukwuakabiama have dealt with this woman, that's the same way Chukwuakabiama will deal with him. Even he himself has said it. You know, initially, all these people who were saying they will disgrace Simon, they will expose Simon, they will expose Simon. The time for exposition have come. All of them have disappeared. All the people who have been shouting, I will expose Simon, I will do this. The time for exposition have come. Every single one of them have disappeared. They have disappeared. Even Simon himself came out and said, if you have any evidence against me, if you are a politician, you are an agitator, you are anybody in the old or in the present that you have a place that I have done anything against Biafra or made anything against, come out and say it. Bring it on. Bring it on. This is the time. And if you cannot do it now, remain silent forever. This is the challenge he brought forward. This is the challenge he has thrown to everybody. And since he threw that challenge, how many people have you seen come out? Did you see anybody come out? That is how to know somebody who is sincere. You see people out of hatred, they begin to peddle lies and try to twist issues, saying things that are unnecessary. Some say he knew this before. How can he know this and all this one? And he kept quiet and he was dancing with that. So unnecessary words. I pray that Chukwuakabiama will give every Biafran the kind of patience someone ever has. If every one of us have that patience, we are going to move mountain. We are going to move mountain. The journey is going to be easy. I wish all these people who are, even some people who we are somehow genuine before, there are so many of them have gone to that platform. So many of them have stood on the same platform to broadcast Biafra. Today you see them. The only mission is just to destroy someone ever. The man that you cannot, how can you destroy him? Where are you going to start? You're going to destroy him. You see that some of them, they will play a video and they tell you that he said, I'm Nelly is me. What does that mean? Does that make any sense? Does it make any sense? Does it make any sense? With the information you are seeing today, with everything that has just come out and more that are to come, with more that have to come, and within they are saying, you are not yet convinced. You are not yet convinced. Even if assuming that someone else was studying him, but all of a sudden he recovered himself and he began to follow the right path, and today you will still know that Simon Ekpa remains the pillar. He remains the pillar of the struggle today. With all the attack from all corners, all these distractions, he is still the pillar. He is still doing what he's supposed to do. He is still making his position. People are still paying attention. Yet you are bent on destroying your own self, not him. Because every attack you're giving at Simon Ekpa, you are giving that attack to Biafra. You are destroying the Biafra struggle. That is what they're doing. You are destroying Biafra struggle. Every attack you launch on Simon Ekpa, it's an attack against your own self as human. You are launching the attack against your own self as a person. You can pretend for all I care. Every single thing you do against him, you are doing it against yourself. Because he is a genuine man standing, speaking up for Biafra. The only spokesperson we know. There's no other person. He didn't ordain himself a spokesperson, not because he called himself a spokesperson, but because of what the work he's doing. The work he's doing, the role he's playing, made him a spokesperson. And if you want to doubt it, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appointed him, made him a spokesperson. For Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to open his mouth and say, give him a slot to preach in Biafra, in Radio Biafra. He has a lot of things. If you trust Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, those of you who claim to believe in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if you trust him and you believe in him, you should know that he has seen something that made him to say, allow this man to go and broadcast. But some of us, out of hatred, envy, and jealousy, they will never see it. They will never see anything good. They will never see. Go and see them peddling all kind of lies. Some of them, the only thing now they know is they are busy. They are busy using someone video. They will go and check and see any place they will see a similarity. Any place they see something that looks similar, they will begin to match it. He said this here, and here he's saying this. He said this here, and here. What do you tend to achieve by all that? What do you attempt to achieve by that? What do you attempt to achieve by that? You are just busy. The only work you have, even the way you are matching someone ever video, you have not been able to study Nigerian government. Study Nigerian government the same way and match up the lies they are telling. Your politicians that are enslaving you, politicians that have sworn to make you slave, you have not been able to match their video the same way. But you spend the whole of your time or your day matching someone ever video. The time you will use to liberate yourself, you are using it to press yourself into destruction the more. Let's assume after all this is you are doing and someone ever stops and say, okay, I'm not going to broadcast anymore. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can never hold the kind of crowd he's holding. You can never operate the kind of standard he's operating. You can never make the revelation he's making. You can never send information out the way he's sending. Simon information is going out to international communities. Many foreign countries, many foreigners are listening to him and are watching. In every of his broadcasts, you see not less than 20,000 people watching at a time in all platforms. Not less than 20,000 watching at a time. If you succeed in bringing him down and stopping him, can you be able to hold up to 1,000 people watching you at a blog? Can you? Can you be able to decimate the information someone ever is saying? Can you be able to speak and the Janjaweed will hear you and respond? The only person today that can speak and the Janjaweed will respond, the governors, the politicians will respond, is Simon Ekpa. Whatever he says on his broadcast, go and look at it. Either they respond directly or they respond through their supervisor, or even BBC themselves will respond. That should teach you, that should tell you, that should ring a bell in your ear. Why are you bent on destroying somebody whom Chukwu have raised up? Even when you know that your effort is for nothing, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed. I pray I pray, and I pray, and I pray. Those of you who are putting hand on those, I pray that you repent as soon. And when you repent, let me tell you, your forgiveness depends on Chukwuka. It doesn't depend on me. I'm not going to tell you you'll be forgiven. Your forgiveness is not in our hand. It's in the hand of Chukwuka. He will decide if he will forgive you after destroying an anointed person. When you hear touch not my anointed, you think touch not my anointed is meant for only people who are pastors. You think touch not my anointed is only for pastors ordained by man. What about people that are ordained by God? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the people that were ordained by God? When we speak about touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm, some of us rely on our pastors, our GOs, the people that were ordained by ordinary men. What about those who were ordained by God himself? You are touching them, pushing them around, playing ball with them because you feel that God is not acting like a shrine that will attack you immediately. But let me tell you, the spirit of Biafra is strong. When Mazen Nandekan is talking about the spirit of Biafra, you don't believe it. When someone ever talk about the spirit of Biafra taking off, when he talked about autopilot, the day he made the broadcast about autopilot, that spirit of Biafra have taken over, and Biafra is an autopilot. This autopilot that every one of them is holding on today is the reigning thing that everybody is still holding on hand. The day someone ever made that broadcast, I was watching him live when he made that broadcast, warning the leadership of IPOB that a time will come when the struggle is going to go on autopilot, that they should pray and watch so that they can be able to manage the situation. He said it. That's what he said. That is how this autopilot comes. That a time will come when the struggle is going to go out of hand. It will be on autopilot. People will begin to do things on their own without being forced or being told that they should be careful and pray that Chukwuka should direct them on how to run their affairs when that time comes. But did they do that? They weren't praying. They didn't commit themselves to that very instruction. They didn't commit themselves to that warning. They just relaxed themselves because most of them have soiled their hand. Today, you hear the number of them, about 8 of them or either 8 or 10 of them were involved in selling mass in that. Not all of them. 8 of them were involved. But how can you be among those and you see the evil that's happening, you do not talk, you keep quiet? You are part of it. Just like Master Samuel said, there are those who sold Mazen Nandekam initially, and there are those who, through their action, keyed in. There are those who sold him indirectly. They keyed in through their own action, through what they were doing. What he called afterthought betrayal. There were the ones who were the main betrayers, and there are the ones who were afterthought betrayal. Those who keyed in when they saw that Mazen Nandekam is no longer the picture. After all, with the grievances they have before, with their aims and greed they have before, they focus on the monetary aspect, and they now begin to fix themselves on positions. The afterthought betrayal, they are all there, and all of them are members of that their so-called organization. Today, very soon, all their name will be out. Their name will be called. This very role that Simon Epa is playing today, this is what the DOS is supposed to do. This is what the leadership of IPOB, the former leadership of IPOB, what they are supposed to do. This thing that you see Simon Epa doing today, this revelation that you see Simon Epa making, this shaking that Simon Epa brought, that was what they are supposed to do. When Biafrans was crying all around, if you ask a question, they block you. You ask a question, they say, shut up. What you say, they block you, they sack you. Without providing an answer. After one good year, they could not be able to provide an answer to how Mazen Nandekam was kidnapped or who was involved. But finally, that same revelation have come through Simon Epa. Through that same man you hate so much. That $1 million question that you've been asking for a very long time has still come out through the same man you have hated so much. And yet you are not satisfied. You're not satisfied. Just wait for it. You see the person that directed him to the native doctor, the same native doctor, the same person he directed, killed him. That should be a lesson for you. You that is peddling lie against someone ever today. You that is peddling lie, they are using you as a propaganda. They are using you as a propagandist, going to your platform to preach rubbish against an innocent person. The same faith, the same way they use you against an innocent person, that's the same way they are going to come against you. They are going to come after you. You are going to be one of those they are going to eliminate when the time comes. The same spoon they gave you to use and feed an innocent person, they are going to serve you the same food. They're going to serve it for you. Just wait. It's a question of time. It's a very short while. It is going to happen. It doesn't matter if you believe it. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it. It doesn't matter if you pray. It doesn't matter if you don't pray. The forgiveness in the hand of Chukwuka. And let me tell you, just as Judas, so many will not be alive to witness the forgiveness when it will come. So many will not be there. When the forgiveness will come, so many will not have the opportunity to be there when prayer of atonement will be made for what the crime that I have committed against myself, because I know him. When Master Nandekano comes out, he is going to pray and he's going to forgive. But let me tell you, so many will not be alive to witness that very forgiveness. They will not be there. Just as Judas did not have the opportunity to see the forgiveness, so many people who are, that is why you have to be very careful. Anything you are not sure of, it's better you keep silent and focus on speaking about your agitation. Be focused, talk about the agitation, talk about the people that are killing you, people that have enslaved you, talk about them, focus on them. Forget about the innocent man. You must, it is not compulsory, you must talk about him. When you see something you are not sure, keep silent and don't talk about it. But when you come in your platform, you make Simon Empire your topic, you are digging your grave. You are digging your grave. Even when the truth is out, instead of you thanking Chukwuka that finally the question you have been asking for a very long time have been answered, you are not satisfied. You want to change the narrative to make sure that you remain relevant. You are dragging your head, pushing your head. You don't want people to say, oh, you are now with him. You don't want to say, oh, people, you have now changed from your word. You are listening to what people say. You want to remain relevant. You want to see as somebody who is relevant. The opportunity might not be there for you to repent. It might not be there. That is why, if you don't have something to say, keep silent. We must not all talk. We must not all broadcast. We must not all be in the war front. We must not all fight. There are people who will be silent. When Biafra come, every one of us will unite and celebrate in that very area. We celebrate. But for you to begin to support evil, evil is going to follow you. It doesn't matter how you protect. It's going to follow you. It will follow you. May Chukwuka protect every single Biafran wherever you are. And our brother Simon Epa, whatever he's doing, I pray for him every day. May Chukwuka guide and protect him. He is doing a great and wonderful job, and much more. He's waxing stronger every day. Waxing stronger every day with all the attacks from all angles, all corners. Chukwuka is fighting his battle. As the revelation is coming, Chukwuka is uplifting him the more. The more you blackmail him, the more he becomes pure. The more you blackmail him, the more people go in and begin to find out that you are lying. The more you begin to pick his video and judge, the more people begin to see that you are lying. The more people see that you are lying. Every single video you see, people will spend their time to go and begin to take their fellow Biafran video and begin to, somebody who is fighting for the same cause you're fighting, who is fighting for your own freedom, you begin to destroy his videos where he has made mistake, where he will use wrong language, where he said this today, he was saying this yesterday, he was saying this. Now you cannot know the situation on which we have said that. On what situation did he say this? On what situation? What is the situation that prompted him to say what he said? At what occasion did he say this? You never consider those. You just pick it to confuse those who you're going to confuse. But let me tell you, majority of Biafrans are awake. Majority of Biafrans are very wise. Majority of Biafrans are very wise. Biafrans know that any woman that can go to the length that woman went to strip herself naked, a married woman, even though divorced, that has children, strip herself naked, take a video and give to somebody. She wasn't forced. She wasn't under duress. That woman is a Jezebel. And thank God, thank you, today, she has been exposed. She's been exposed. That is the end of the road for her. Wait for it. If you think that she's going to just hands off, like, no, go and check Pharaoh. Pharaoh with all the attack, with all the miracle, even face to face with Pharaoh, with all the attack, all the miracle, everything that happened, Pharaoh didn't give up. Pharaoh never accepted. Pharaoh never submitted. With all the challenges, everything, every talk from all that, Pharaoh was still there, saying what he was saying. He was still holding the children of Israel until the dying minute. And you saw his end, how he ended. The end of this woman is going to be worse than that of Nebuchadnezzar. It is going to be worse than that of Nebuchadnezzar. She's going to eat grass. She's going to beg for death. And it will not come because she has touched the anointed. The anointed. The anointed. Even the native doctor himself told her, go and apologize to Mazen Nandekam. Apologize to Biafrans. Start from there. When you start from there, it's left for Chukwu Okike Abiama to forgive you or not to forgive you. And if you don't, you pay with your life. You pay with your life. After running mad at your confession, you pay with your life. And it's going to happen. Everybody's going to see it. Already you can see how she's getting mad. Biafra, stand firm. We are going to the end of the road. Biafra is much more closer today than it was yesterday. With the kinds of revelations that are happening, with the kinds of things that are happening now, you have to know that Biafra is much more closer today than it was yesterday. And for those of you who don't know, who don't believe, you saw what happened in Ondo State. You saw what transpired in Ondo State, where these Fulani terrorists went and murdered people in the church. Every one Nigerian that is watching this video, that you watch this video, it is high time you wake up. It is high time we wake up. Those people that we are murdered in that very church, some of them we are one Nigerianist. Nobody knows who is going to be tomorrow. Nobody knows who is going to be tomorrow. It can be anybody. These people that their life was smoked out today being Sunday, yesterday, they were successful. They were success yesterday. Today, they are victims. Yesterday night, if they told them that they will lose their life, they will not believe it. But today, they wake up to go and thank God in the church. And some of you will say, why is it that God didn't protect them in the church? Why did they didn't know? Why is the revelation didn't come? Let me tell you, Chukwu Okike Abiama will do what he will do. And you yourself have a role to play. Chukwu Okike Abiama will do what you do. You yourself will have a role to. That is why when we talk about self-defense and defending yourself, you have that right. Even the government gave you that right to defend yourself. And you have to use your right. The children of Israel, the country Israel, they are the most loved by God, according to the Bible. Even in the Quran, they know that they have been loved. They are loved by God. But with all the love God have to them, I choose them as the number one. Even they went to the state of saying that if there is anybody going to heaven, they will be the first people to go before any other person. But still, these people that are so close to God, whom God have chosen by himself, they still protect themselves. They have the greatest weapon you can think of in the planet Earth. They fight the greatest battle in the planet Earth. They are fighting every day. They don't sleep. The Iron Dome is fighting day and night. They are always at alert. They are fighting war. Even as you are watching this video, they are at war. That is how the world works. Chukwu Okike Abiama will give you the wisdom, give you the information, tell you what to do, but you have to play your role. It is high time all these churches and pastors and reverends protect your church. Protect your church. Get a security that has equal measure of arms to stay behind and protect your church. Do not depend on your military or whatever. Don't depend on any protection from military. In the Southwest, they have the Omoteku. You know that the Omoteku is not buoyant enough. They have destroyed the Omoteku and make them ineffective. Omoteku can be able to protect their zone, but the government have made them ineffective. So the churches should derive a means to protect their members from the hand of the terrorists. Derive a means. And if you're a church goer, to begin to think of how to protect yourself. Begin to plan, make a second plan on how to protect yourself. The only information that God can give you is the one He's giving you today. You saw a reverend father that a prelate. You saw the prelate that escaped death. That prelate had everything working against him. Everything about him. Everything about him is supposed to make him dead. Number one, he's an Igbo man. An Igbo man is a threat to the Fulani. For you being an Igbo man, they capture you, the terrorists capture you, they will take your life. They don't need to ask more questions. And he is a Christian leader with a collar in his neck. That one alone is a death sentence. But yet, Chukwu Okike Abiama kept him alive so that he can come and pass information. That is how Chukwu Okike Abiama works. Chukwu Okike Abiama kept him alive and made sure they spared his life so that he can come and give information what is about to happen. The need for you to protect yourself. When he was speaking, you heard him. He said he doesn't want to die. You want him to die? They ask him, why did you pay ransom? He said, why wouldn't he pay ransom and secure himself? He went further to say that self-security is number one. The prelate went further to say, the Methodist prelate went further to say that self-security is number one thing you have to think about. When we talk about it, people think it's a joke. And everything that is happening today, Mazen Nanekana have been shouting. They are coming. Finally, they have come. It is not they are coming. They have come. And they are on the ground. They have come. Every single person have been shouting. But when you talk about it, people, the difference is that people talk about it and they move and continue on the same path that is going to take their life. The difference between every activist and every agitator in that contract of God, Nigeria, and Mazen Nanekano is Mazen Nanekano is a man that saw the problem. At the same time, saw the solution and he's following the solution. He doesn't want to gamble. The only solution to the problem in the contract of God, Nigeria is what? Disintegration. You break up the contract. As soon as you break it up, you break the interest. As long as the country remains the same, there is nothing you can do on the planet Earth to have security. There is nothing you can do on the planet Earth to have a good economy. There is nothing you do on the planet Earth to make sure that people have a sane life. It doesn't happen anywhere. Mazen Nanekano have tried everything you can think of. Political solution, joining politics, voting, it never worked. Until Chukwukayo and told him, fight for your people and take them out. Referendum or nothing. Referendum or nothing. That is what everybody is supposed to be asking for. Mazen Nanekano saw the only thing that is going to save people's life. When you see us talking about disintegration, it is out of love. Out of love for the people, the indigenous tribe. Not only for Biafra, not only for Igbos, not only for Yoruba, out of love for the indigenous tribe. That is why we are crying and shouting. Separate this country, conduct referendum. We are not saying that having a caliphate is wrong. We are not saying that. Having an Islamic nation is not a crime. It's something that a legitimate right of people. People that want to practice it already, they have already started it already in the north. They are already planting their Sharia. Why don't you allow them to have their nation? Those of us who want to have a secular system, allow us to be on our own and have it. Why is it too much? Is it too much something to ask? Is it too much to ask? It is out of love that we're asking. And we're asking for a true referendum. The most peaceful way to settle things is referendum. The most peaceful way to settle things in politics is referendum. Politically, it's referendum. That is what we're asking for, and nothing else. And yet, they have refused to listen. They have refused to pay attention. They ignore us completely. Instead, they are coming after us to kill us. They are coming after us for asking for referendum, for asking for life to be saved. Already, they are practicing Sharia in the north. You see recently, Abuja of all people, Federal Capital Territory, somebody was just killed yesterday that he blasphemed. Somebody was killed in the public, even after Deborah Own that we are talking about. Deborah Own just happened. People thought it would end there. Just yesterday, somebody was killed in Abuja. Abuja of all people. Because of that same blasphemy. And you see the one that happened in the state. Still, you will tell that Nigeria can never ever know peace or stand. The only thing to save the situation is let people go their separate ways so that they can be able to protect their border. They form their own Islamic country, then they form their border. If they decide to open it up, they can open it up because they love opening it. They open it up, there are people coming in. Those of us in the southern part of Nigeria, we know what we can do. Then we protect our own border and close it up. Anybody that comes in, we know when you're coming and when you're going out. But as it stands now, you don't know who is a Nigerian and who is not a Nigerian. Even the foreigners are having Nigerian international ID card, while the Nigerian, the indigenous people do not have it. The international ID card, foreigners have it. Even foreigners have it in that contraption, but the indigenous tribes do not have it. That's the situation. And you still see somebody begin to talk about one Nigeria. And when you talk about it, you see the warning was coming all the way from onset. The warning was coming from a general in that contract of God Nigeria, a general that you all know, General Danjuma, told us that the military is colluding. When we are calling that this is a terrorist government, the government of Muhammad Buhari is a terrorist government, people say it's a lie, it's a propaganda. But a general, a former chief of army staff in that country, said that they are colluding. And they didn't deny it. In the open, they told us that we are recruiting Boko Haram into their military. In the face of all this evil, United States sold to Nigeria to them. UK is supporting them. After seeing what happened in Afghanistan, after seeing what played out in Afghanistan, still this Western country ignored all the warnings, ignored all the signs, and they are still selling weapons to these people. And you think that what happened in Afghanistan cannot happen in Nigeria. You have to think again. Begin to prepare yourself for the worst. Anything can happen at any time. Anything can happen at any time. Warnings have come. Let me see if I can find the warnings and play. Warnings have come from a very long time. Yet people ignore it. They pretend they don't hear it. They pretend it never happened. People are pretending it never happened. Let's watch. This is one of the
Taraba is a mini state. It's a mini Nigeria composed of various ethnic groups living together reasonably peacefully. But the peace in this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state and of course in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. The ethnic cleansing must stop in Taraba State. It must stop in all the states of Nigeria. Otherwise, Somalia will be a child's play. I ask every one of you to be alert and defend your country, defend your territory, defend your state. You have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go. God bless our country.
You heard him. This man that spoke is a general, General Danjuma, a former chief of army staff in that very country called Nigeria. Vomiting all those things is vomiting, telling you that the military, which he is part of, are colluding with the killer and telling you about the genocide that is happening. He warned about it. He said, protect yourself. When we say it here, people will say we are making propaganda. You see him still using the same comparison that Mazen Dankano made about Nigeria becoming Somalia. That same language is what he used. Exactly the same language. Somalia will be a child's play compared to what you will see in Nigeria. The same phrase that Mazen Dankano used, that is what Danjuma used. And people ignore it. The difference between this and Mazen Dankano is that Mazen Dankano didn't only say it. He said it and he's working to protect his own people. That was why Mazen Dankano established ESN. After calling for the governors, called the governors several times, wrote to the governors to establish a security outfit. The governors refused. Mazen Dankano went ahead and formed the Eastern Security Network. Because of this thing that this man said now, Mazen Dankano established the Eastern Security Network. That's the difference between Mazen Dankano. Mazen Dankano saw the danger that you are seeing today, and he decided to make plans to protect his own people, self-defense. This is a general, one of the evil men you have in that country called Nigeria. But at the end of the time, you see him. After speaking and talking all those grammar, he went back to one Nigeria. Today, are you hearing him? He went back to one Nigeria. The killing continues. The destruction of life continues. That is the difference between these people and Mazen Nanikan. That is the difference between these people and those of us who are agitators. We are consistent and we have the solution. Break up. That is the only solution. The warning have been coming. This is not the only warning. This is not the only warning. And again, let me play again that of Obadiah Melafia. The late Obadiah Melafia of blessed memory. Now we are remembering him. You see? This is how everybody will be remembering him. Obadiah Melafia made his own revelation. People took him for it. Even Obadiah, you see what happened in the church today in Ondo State. You see the killing happening. Obadiah Melafia came out. He wondered about it. And he even came out and cried and tell Christians to come together and conduct 1 week sit at home. Let the world know that you people are united. You will have a population in this contraption so that they can be able to come to your aid. When Obadiah made that call, no GO announced it in their church. Khan did not key in. Nobody responded to him. Obadiah made that call. That was one of the reasons why they killed him, because they saw Obadiah trying to unite the Christians together. That was one of the reasons why they take him out. Today, the man is no more. And when we are talking, they say we are talking rubbish. I want to play the video of Obadiah Malafia to remind you, in case you have forgotten. We have to be going back and remind you so that you remember.
Which is it for you, Dr. Obadiah? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How would the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. 1 or 2 who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They are already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They are everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
Did you hear it? I hope you heard him very clear. You had this revelation came. People ignored it. He made the revelation. People ignored. Today we are in 2022. The war is on. Every single thing that Obadiah Malafia said is coming to pass. And today, when you hear the Reverend came to speak his own, Reverend come and made the last revelation, people are surprised, as if they've not heard it before. Mazen Nanikan shouted for a very long time, shouted, they are coming, they are coming. They closed their ear as if they didn't hear it. The General Danjuman say it, they closed their ear as if they didn't hear it. Obadiah Malafia spoke about it, they ignored it. People are still talking about the election. You see why we will not be part of the election. This is why no well-meaning person, no reasonable person, no responsible person should be talking about election in that country called Nigeria. And that is why the Biafrans will not participate in anything that has to do with the election. Because the election is a fraud. They are only doing it to kill us the more. We cannot be able to endure. The only vote that we cast in Biafra land is what? Referendum vote. After all, there is a case of referendum in their court. This October, coming October, Let everybody that want peace, anybody that wants Jerusalem, begin to go and support that referendum. All their politicians, all their lawmakers, go and pursue that case of referendum and get it to an end. That is the only solution. Let there be a referendum. After the referendum, if people choose to remain in the contract of Nigeria, let them be. So be it. If after referendum, people choose to remain in the contraption, so be it. But we are not going to be part of any election. We will not be part of it. Those who want to participate, it's up to them. But no well-meaning person who wants peace, nobody who loves his own people will encourage them with the situation of that contraption now, with the things that are happening. A country that is so destructively diverse. The diversity in that contraption is a diversity that doesn't meet anywhere. It doesn't meet. There is no comparison. There's no meet. There's no way. It's just like water and oil. They never mix. No matter how you mix them, they will separate. That is the kind of things we see there. The diversity is so destructive. A destructive diversity. We are people of different ideas, different religion, different ethnicity, different values. We are forced to be together. We don't have anything in common with the core north. There is no resemblance of any kind. In the food we eat, in the way we behave, in our religion, in our language, there is no resemblance. If you want to talk about the South somehow, they have similarity. The South somehow, they have similar value. But when you come to the core north, and we don't have any match. There's no place. They are supposed to be on their own. And people were forced together. And we are asking for a breakup so that we can go our separate ways and have a nation where we can have peace of mind to save life. And people say it's too much ask. And when we come here to say it on social media, people will say we are talking too much. People will think we are peddling lie. But I'm going to play another video for you when you will see somebody saying the same thing we are saying in their conventional media. But the difference is that we are saying it, when we say our own, we stand on it because we know what they're talking about. But in their own, when they say it, the next minute they're talking about one Nigeria. They complain the same thing we are complaining, but yet they don't have solution. In our own part, we have a solution. That is why we are different. I'm going to show you a video that was made in their conventional media in Nigeria, what somebody was saying about the destructive diversity in Nigeria. Watch.
No. When you take the history of Nigeria, from the very beginning, when we were amalgamated, to the very beginning we became a nation, we got it altogether wrong. You bring in people of different culture, different beliefs, different socialization, different milieu, different outlooks, merge them together by force to form a nation. Only the initial builders of Nigeria had a clear vision and a mission, devoid of any sentiment. Soon thereafter, it became clear that it was a wrong union. It was a union that was not properly negotiated. We could have remained a great country if we had isolated our own identities, peculiarities, culture, while contributing to build a nation just like America. But we ended up having people from one generation, one set of leaders to another, everybody coming with a vision and a mission, and destroy the previous ones he made, even if they are good because they are put in place by an imaginary enemy. Secondly, we have a nation where we celebrate criminals. It is only in Nigeria that somebody will clearly steal and loot hugely from the public treasury. And then after some times, you see him receiving national honors. You see him being given chieftaincy titles. You see him being called king, prince, or an emir. That is an indicator that we are yet to be there. We also form a nation. Only the initial builders of Nigeria had a clear vision and a mission, devoid of any sentiment. Soon thereafter, it became clear that it was a wrong union. It was a union that was not properly negotiated. We could have remained a great country if we had isolated our own identities, peculiarities, culture, while contributing to build a nation just like America. But we ended up having people from one generation, one set of leaders to another, everybody coming with a vision and a mission, and destroy the previous ones he made, even if they are good because they are put in place by an imaginary enemy. Secondly, we have a nation where we celebrate criminals. It is only in Nigeria that somebody will clearly steal and loot hugely from the public treasury. And then after some times, you see him receiving national honors. You see him being given chieftaincy titles. You see him being called king, prince, or an emir. That is an indicator that we are yet to be there. We also have a complacent followership, a followership that is satisfied with collecting 500 naira to vote, 1,000 naira to vote, a bar of soap, a tin of milk. On that basis, he surrenders his franchise. It means we are not conscious of our civic duties and responsibilities as a nation. Majority of the common people that are complaining now are also contributing to the destruction of the country in collaboration with the colleagues of the elites. While the elites are losing the treasury, they are hailing them. Today, if a northerner were to be caught stealing 10 billion naira and he is taken to court, believe me honestly, you will see northern organizations, northern elites, some of them saying that he is being persecuted because he's a northerner, because he's a Muslim.
We also saw it in southern Nigeria.
We had such an incident. I can give you, if you give me time. A former managing director of a bank in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, in between his wife, his house girl, his younger brother, himself, stole 3 billion naira directly from shareholders' money.
Allegedly.
Yeah, no. Just wait. He was taken to court. And he appeared only once. Before the next adjournment date, two prominent Islamic scholars, a member of Jama'at al-Nasr al-Islam, and an elder went and visited the president, interceded on his own behalf. By the next adjournment date, the Attorney General entered a nolle prosequi in his own favor. 4 years after,
and that was the end of the case.
4 years after, I saw his name with OON, without being extended presidential prerogative of mercy, without degazetting his name. Until they degazetted, I still have the gazette. He has not been degazetted. 9 years after, another governor from South, maybe he was looking for GCON because this one was giving OON for stealing 3 billion naira. That Southern State governor stole 30 billion naira. He was also charged to court. South Elders Forum, members of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Secretary General of Khan visited Mr. President in the villa. I still have the video on NTA. They said, Mr. President, our son being persecuted. The money said to have been stolen by him. Does that money belong to the federal government or to the state government? And the president said, the money belongs to him. They said, he is our son, we have forgiven him. And that was the end of the story. As if Islam and Christianity is about stealing and looting the public treasury. Until we dispose of this mentality of using religion to intimidate government and to intimidate other people, we have a very, very long way to go. We must not wear the face of Moses and hang the heart of Pharaoh if we want this country to grow.
Okay, we'll go on a break. When we come back, I will continue to tackle issues, but with more.
Now you have seen it. You heard from him. He is describing the Nigeria. People who call themselves one Nigerian. This is the Nigeria he's describing. Telling you the diversity, the destructive diversity we are talking about. That is what he described in detail. Is that a country you want to be part of? Is that a place to be proud of? This is a video made in their conventional media. If we come here to say it, they will say, oh, we are peddling lies. Oh, we are looking for trouble. Oh, we are talking too much. This man was making this comment in their conventional media, telling you that people we are forcefully put together, people who don't have anything in common, we are forcefully put together. Telling you that Nigeria is a country, a contraption that promotes evil. They support evil. If you are not evil, you can't prosper. Their evil have grown so much that even the ordinary citizens are now evil people. Ordinary citizens now, that is why you see when something happened in Nigeria, instead of them to begin to blame the oppressor, they begin to blame the victim. That's the latest. When things happen in the country of Nigeria, they don't blame the victim, they don't blame the oppressor, they blame the victim. You see, even when Deborah was murdered, some people are blaming Deborah. Even people from the southern part of Nigeria, even Christians, they were blaming Deborah. Why must you talk? So what did Deborah say? What's the wrong statement that he made? She didn't make any wrong statement, and her life was taken. Instead of trying to get justice for her, some people were busy blaming her. This is the kind of contraption we do. The diversity have destroyed people's brain. Even in Biafra land, after we have gotten Biafra, we have a lot of work to do. When Biafra have come, we still have a lot of work to do to clean up some Janjaweed brain. Some people have already been infected. Janjaweed brain have already sank into some people's brain. We have a great work to do. After Biafra have come, that is when we will start the main work. You see some of these idiots that are running around today that they are campaigning for Biafra, calling themselves agitators. And we have a lot of work to do to sanitize the mindset of people. The Janjaweed mentality have entered people in a country. We are people. They blame the oppressed. Instead of blaming the oppressor, they will blame the oppressed. And they even accuse the oppressed of being the oppressor. That is what happens in the country of Nigeria. You see the way the man describes it? I pray that Chukwu Kabiama will help us. Chukwu Kabiama will help us. I thank everybody that have joined me on this platform. Everybody has supported this platform from beginning to the end. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama guide and protect you. If you have shared this video, Chukwu Kabiama will protect you and secure you. You will never lose your life. You are going to witness Biafra. You'll be alive and celebrating Biafra land. Everybody that have participated in the video and shared this video have contributed in one way or the other to send out this message. Chukwu Kabiama is going to secure you. You will never lose your life. If you're from Oduduwa land, you will see Oduduwa. Oduduwa will come and you will be in Oduduwa land and celebrate. Any part of the world where you are from and you are genuinely looking for freedom, you will witness freedom in your own lifetime. May Chukwu Kabiama guide and protect every single Biafran all over the world, wherever you are. Mainly the Biafrans in Biafra land. Chukwu Kabiama will protect you. Chukwu Kabiama will secure you. The Monday sit at home continues. Sit at home on Monday to save your life. Don't go and risk your life. Don't gamble. Don't gamble. The people that are after Biafrans are doing everything possible. Anytime you lose guard, anytime you don't listen to instruction, they are going to use you to blackmail IPOB. Blackmail Nandekano. That is a game they are playing on a daily basis. There's no doubt about it. It is no longer something to guess about. This is what they do. So the only way for you to stay safe is to sit at home to air your opinion. Let the world know that you are not in support of what is happening, that you are asking for the release of Mazen Nandekano. Monday sit at home continues. And in Biafra land, we are not going to participate in an election in Biafra land. We are not part of it. Prepare for the 2 weeks sit at home that is coming. It is going to come. Biafra is much more closer than it was yesterday. It's much more closer. If anybody, with the things that are happening, with the revelations that are coming, with the exposition that is coming, it shows that Biafra is much more closer than it is yesterday. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Mazen Nandekano is coming out very soon. May Chukwu Kabiama guide and protect Mazen Nandekano. May Chukwu Kabiama guide and secure Mazen Nandekano. No weapon formed or fashioned against Mazen Nandekano shall prosper. Thank you so much for joining me on this broadcast. I appreciate every one of you, and I pray that Chukwu Kabiama will strengthen you. I will see you again tomorrow by the special grace of Chukwu Kabiama. Bye-bye. See you.
Good evening and good night to someone.